My name's Andrew Willborn. I recently graduated from University of Central Florida with a degree in computer science. So, I know how he said a lot of us don't have prior experience, and that's true. But at UCF, I actually had a lot of prior experience. I got a really strong foundation, and I became a really strong coder at UCF. But I came here anyway. I wanted to further my education, learn a lot more. And now I'm not just a strong coder, I'm a software engineer. So something about me is I'm really into fantasy. I like to read a lot. I like to play a lot of tabletop games, card games, and one of my favorite games to play is Magic the Gathering. And so I decided to make a project related to that. So whenever you play Magic the Gathering, you build these customized decks out of all of these different trading cards, and all the cards do different things, and a lot of them they're all different, and some of them are stronger than others. And so when you go to play against someone, you want to find a fair matchup. But it's a little bit hard to do that. In the past, people would try to use a scale of 1 to 10. They'd rate their decks on a scale of 1 to 10, like, oh, my deck's a 7. Oh, my deck's also a 7. Cool, we'll have a fair fight. Turns out everyone rates their deck a 7. Doesn't work. And so instead, I created this app to help people communicate a little bit more easily. And so here's a little bit sneak preview of what it's going to look like. And it allows you to display information about a deck that you've built, and then it lets you use this visual scale from low to medium to high for how good your deck is. And so instead of using this bland number scale, you've got a little bit more description behind that rating. And then you use this visual scale. It's really nice. And then you can also have other people rate your decks and compile a bunch of different opinions. So you can see here, this one's not just one rating, it's 6. And so that adds more backing to that rating. It makes it feel more reliable, and it's not just one person's idea of how good a deck is. So let's go into the demo, and I can show you a little bit of how it works. So here's what the website looks like when you first load it. It gives you a welcome screen, and it shows some of the other decks that people have made. And if you click this sign up button, we can go in and create an account. We'll just go ahead and make one with email and password. So we'll just give it an email, sloths@bocacode.com, and we'll make a password. Now we've created a new account. And when we do so, it'll take us to this home page where it'll show a list of all of the decks that you've made. Since we just made this account, there aren't any in there yet, so we're going to make a new one. So we're going to call this My New Deck, like so. And then we can give it a commander. Now your commander is you pick any Magic card in the game. There's over 20,000 of them, and they're all available in this database. And you put in the name of that card, and it'll pull it up for you. Now, what's cool about Magic the Gathering is they actually recently added all of the Lord of the Rings characters into the game. So all of the Lord of the Rings characters, they're all in here. So who here likes Lord of the Rings? Yeah. All right. You in the back, what's your favorite Lord of the Rings character? Galadriel. All right. Let's do Galadriel of Lothlorn. I don't think that's spelled correctly, but it actually doesn't matter because it's going to do a search and it's going to find it anyway. So let's give it our own rating. We'll go create it. And there we go. We've got Galadriel of Lothlorien. And we can select it from a couple of different artworks. You can see here, if you click this button, it'll toggle between a couple of different artworks. This one looks really cool, so I'll go with this one. And then what we can do is we have our own rating in here, but if we play this deck with someone, and after we just played against them, they have an idea of how good it is now because they just saw it. We can pull up this QR code right here, and they can scan it like Lorenzo's about to right now, and he's going to submit his own rating for this deck. And what he's looking at is he's looking at a screen that looks something like this, where he can submit his own rating. He sees a little bit about the deck, and he can give it a rating. So now if we go back to our home page, we can see he's like, oh man, this deck, your deck is terrible. It sucks. It's no good. And so you can see the rating has gone down by a whole lot now. It's over, all the way down on the lower end now. And as we play more games with more people, we'll get more ratings, more opinions, and the rating will become more accurate and reliable. So now I'll talk a little bit about how I built this app. So when I went to go build this app, I decided I wanted to learn a new technology. I really like working with backend, and I wanted to learn a new backend technology. So I decided to teach myself Microsoft SQL Server for this project, and that's what I did. I learned how to use Microsoft SQL Server, and I deployed it to Azure Database. Learned a lot about SQL. I really liked working with it. I learned a whole lot, and it's a really powerful tool, and I'm glad I used it. For my API, I used Express and Node.js, and that's also hosted on Azure. And then for my front end, I used Next.js, Tailwind, and deployed that on the Google Cloud. And then for login, I used Firebase authentication. And in the future, I want to get more users on this website. More people are on the website, the more ratings there are, the more reliable the information on there gets. And then also, as more cards get released for the game, I want to make sure those are always available, so we'll have to keep on adding those into the database as well. If you can scan this QR code, you can add me on LinkedIn, or you can email me here. And thank you very much. Woo!